Silence. It's so simple, isn't it? Just the absence of words. And yet, in the right moment, silence speaks volumes. It's a shield when words could wound, a tool when emotions run high, and a sanctuary when the world demands a reaction you're not ready to give. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, understood this deeply. He knew that silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's the presence of wisdom. But let's be real, silence isn't always easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest things to master. When someone insults you, your instinct is to defend yourself. When you're angry, you want to lash out. When you feel unheard, you're tempted to shout louder. But here's the truth. Every time you react impulsively, you hand over your power. What if instead you paused? What if, in those moments where emotions surge, you chose silence? Not as a retreat, but as an act of control. Because silence isn't passive, it's active. It's a choice to observe, reflect, and protect your peace. It's the space where your best self resides. In this journey, we'll explore 9 situations where Marcus Aurelius would tell you to hold your tongue, not to suppress your voice, but to wield your silence like a sword. Because sometimes the most profound statement you can make is saying nothing at all. Are you ready to discover the power of silence? Let's begin. When words will only escalate conflict. Have you ever been in the middle of an argument where every word you said seemed to make things worse? It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. More words, more heat, more destruction. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, believed that in moments of conflict, silence isn't just an escape, it's a strategy. He reminds us, you don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you. In heated moments, our instinct is often to defend ourselves, to prove we're right, or to land the final blow. But ask yourself, what do I really gain from this? Most arguments don't end with one person seeing the light. They end with both sides more entrenched in their anger. Silence, on the other hand, gives you the space to reflect. It allows you to step back and see the bigger picture. Sometimes, the most powerful move is to say nothing at all. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or walking away from important conversations. It means choosing your words and their timing with intention. By staying silent in the heat of the moment, you give yourself time to cool down and respond rather than react. And in that space, clarity emerges. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a conflict, pause. Hold your tongue. Choose silence, not as a sign of weakness, but as a reflection of your strength. Because when you master the art of silence, you master the art of control. When your opinion won't change anything. Have you ever been in a conversation where you knew deep down that nothing you said would make a difference? Maybe it was with someone stubbornly clinging to their perspective, or perhaps the situation itself was beyond your influence. In these moments, Marcus Aurelius would advise silence, not out of defeat, but out of wisdom. He reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When we speak in situations where our words won't lead to change, we're not solving problems, we're adding noise. Sometimes, the most effective way to assert your values or make an impact isn't through debate. It's through your actions. Words can feel hollow when the other person isn't ready to listen, but silence holds its own weight. It communicates confidence, restraint, and an understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. This doesn't mean giving up on important conversations or never voicing your beliefs. Instead, it's about knowing when to step back. Ask yourself, will my words genuinely contribute here, or am I speaking just to be heard? If the answer is the latter, let your silence speak for you. By choosing not to engage in futile debates, you protect your energy and focus on what truly matters, living in alignment with your principles. Because in the end, actions have a power that words often lack. Silence, when chosen wisely, is not a retreat, but a declaration of your priorities. When you're acting out of anger. Anger is a powerful emotion, isn't it? It feels urgent, like it demands to be expressed immediately. But here's the thing. Words spoken in anger often cut deeper than we intend and create wounds that linger far longer than the moment itself. Marcus Aurelius understood this and advised restraint, reminding us how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. When you act out of anger, you lose control. Your emotions take the wheel, and your words become weapons, often aimed at those you care about most. But what happens when the anger fades? Regret sets in, and the damage is already done. Silence, in moments of rage, is your shield. It gives you the space to cool down, to regain clarity, and to choose a response that reflects your true self, not the temporary storm of your emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. Anger is valid, but it's also fleeting. When you feel it rising, pause. Breathe. Let the silence hold the weight of your emotion instead of letting it spill out in words you might later wish you could take back. By choosing silence in anger, you don't just avoid saying something hurtful, you reclaim your power. You show yourself and others that you are not a slave to your emotions, but a master of your reactions. And that kind of control, that's real strength. When you don't have all the facts. How often do we jump to conclusions, filling in the gaps with assumptions, only to realize later we didn't have the full story? Marcus Aurelius cautioned against hasty judgments, urging us to seek clarity before we act. He said, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." Speaking without all the facts can lead to misunderstandings, unnecessary conflict, or even embarrassing mistakes. It's tempting to voice your opinion immediately, especially when emotions are high or the situation feels urgent. But here's the truth. Silence is your ally in moments of uncertainty. It gives you time to gather information, reflect on the situation, and approach it with wisdom instead of impulse. Think of silence as your buffer, a space to pause and ensure your words carry meaning and accuracy. Ask yourself, do I truly understand what's happening here? Am I basing my response on facts, or am I reacting to assumptions or incomplete information? If the answer isn't clear, hold your tongue. Choosing silence when you lack clarity isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It shows maturity and self-control, qualities that not only protect your credibility, but also deepen your understanding of the world. The next time you find yourself in the fog of uncertainty, let silence be your guide until the truth becomes clear. When you're trying to impress others, how many times have you found yourself speaking not because you truly had something to say, but because you wanted to be noticed? It's human nature to crave validation, to want people to see your worth. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. When you speak just to impress, your words lose authenticity. You become more focused on how you appear than on what you truly believe. The irony is that trying too hard to impress often has the opposite effect. It can come across as insincere or even desperate. Silence, on the other hand, speaks volumes. It conveys confidence, self-assurance, and a sense of inner strength. Next time you're tempted to chime in with something just to be seen, pause and ask yourself, am I adding value to this conversation, or am I trying to seek approval? If it's the latter, let your silence do the talking. Sometimes the most impressive person in the room is the one who doesn't feel the need to prove anything. When you detach from the need for external validation, your words become more intentional, and your presence becomes more impactful. People will notice not because you're loud, but because your silence carries weight. Remember, true confidence doesn't need an audience. It thrives in the quiet assurance of knowing your worth. When you're faced with gossip or negativity, gossip is like a wildfire. It thrives on attention, spreads quickly, and leaves destruction in its wake. When someone brings negativity or gossip your way, the temptation to engage can feel almost irresistible. After all, it's human nature to want to be in the know or feel connected through shared opinions. But Marcus Aurelius, with his calm wisdom, would advise us to rise above. He wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Engaging in gossip or negative talk, even passively, aligns you with the very energy you likely disdain. It pulls you down to a level where judgment, speculation, and drama thrive. Silence, however, acts as a shield. By choosing not to respond, you make a quiet but powerful statement. I won't participate in tearing others down. This doesn't mean you have to awkwardly ignore someone or abruptly leave a conversation. Instead, redirect the focus, change the subject, or simply listen without contributing. Your silence will often speak louder than words, signaling your values without unnecessary conflict. The next time someone tries to pull you into negativity, remember, silence isn't weakness. It's a refusal to give energy to what doesn't serve you. And in that refusal, you protect your own light. When you're faced with gossip or negativity, gossip is like a wildfire. It thrives on attention, spreads quickly, and leaves destruction in its wake. When someone brings negativity or gossip your way, the temptation to engage can feel almost irresistible. After all, it's human nature to want to be in the know or feel connected through shared opinions. But Marcus Aurelius, with his calm wisdom, would advise us to rise above. He wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Engaging in gossip or negative talk, even passively, aligns you with the very energy you likely disdain. It pulls you down to a level where judgment, speculation, and drama thrive. Silence, however, acts as a shield. By choosing not to respond, you make a quiet but powerful statement. I won't participate in tearing others down. This doesn't mean you have to awkwardly ignore someone or abruptly leave a conversation. Instead, redirect the focus, change the subject, or simply listen without contributing. Your silence will often speak louder than words, signaling your values without unnecessary conflict. Gossip and negativity lose their power when they're met with stillness. When you refuse to feed the fire, it eventually burns out. More importantly, by remaining silent, you protect your own peace and integrity. The next time someone tries to pull you into negativity, remember, silence isn't weakness. It's a refusal to give energy to what doesn't serve you, and in that refusal, you protect your own light. When your emotions are clouding your judgment, emotions are powerful, aren't they? They can inspire us, guide us, and even protect us, but they can also blind us. When you're overwhelmed by strong feelings, whether it's anger, sadness, excitement, or fear, your ability to think clearly often takes a back seat. Marcus Aurelius, ever the voice of calm and reason, reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When emotions run high, silence is your anchor. It gives you the space to breathe, process, and regain control over your thoughts before you speak or act. Reacting impulsively often leads to regret, because decisions made in emotional chaos rarely reflect your true intentions. Silence, however, allows you to step back and ask yourself, what's really going on here? Am I reacting to the situation or to how it makes me feel? Think of silence as a pause button. It's not about suppressing your emotions, but about creating a moment to let them settle. This moment of stillness can prevent words or actions that might escalate the situation or misrepresent how you truly feel. The next time you feel your emotions taking over, try staying silent, just for a little while. Let the storm pass. When you do speak, your words will come from a place of clarity, not chaos. And that's where true wisdom lives, not in the heat of the moment, but in the calm that follows. When silence protects your dignity. There are moments in life when silence becomes your strongest defense. Perhaps someone criticizes you unfairly, mocks your character, or tries to provoke you into reacting. Your instinct might be to jump in, to defend yourself, to set the record straight. But Marcus Aurelius, with his deep Stoic wisdom, teaches us the power of restraint. He reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When you respond to provocation, you give away your power. You let someone else dictate your emotions and pull you into their chaos. But when you choose silence, you reclaim control. You rise above petty conflicts, showing that your worth isn't determined by others' opinions or attempts to undermine you. This doesn't mean staying silent in the face of injustice or harm. Those moments call for action. But in situations where words are just weapons, silence is the armor that shields your dignity. It's not about weakness. It's about knowing that not every battle deserves your energy. Think of silence as a mirror. When someone lashes out and you don't respond, they're left to reflect on their own behavior. Meanwhile, you maintain your peace and self-respect. The next time someone tries to pull you down, pause, take a breath, hold your tongue. Your silence will speak louder than any argument and protect the dignity that no one else can take from you. The power of silence. Your journey starts here. Silence is more than the absence of sound. It's a tool, a shield, and a gateway to your truest self. It's a power you've always had, but may not have fully realized until now. Each of these 9 lessons isn't just a reminder of when to stay silent. It's a challenge to reshape the way you think, act, and respond to life. But here's the real question. Which moment will you choose silence in today? Will it be in a heated argument where you take a breath instead of a verbal swing? Or maybe when gossip circles around you and you decide to let it die with your refusal to participate? Perhaps your silence will be the pause before reacting emotionally, a moment to let peace take the lead. Let's make this real. Right now, I want you to think about one area of your life where silence could change everything. Is it with a person, a situation, or maybe within yourself? Share it in the comments below, not just for yourself, but for someone else who might need to see they're not alone. You never know how your insight could inspire someone else to take their first step. And if this resonated with you, if it shifted something in your perspective, even just a little, hit that subscribe button. This is just the beginning of a deeper conversation about self-mastery, stoicism, and creating a life where you're unshaken by chaos. Silence isn't about withdrawing. It's about choosing your moments wisely. It's about stepping back to step forward with intention and clarity. If that's a path you're ready to walk, stick around. There's so much more ahead. Now, tell me in the comments, when was the last time silence saved you? And how will you use it to take back your power today? Let's start a conversation that goes beyond words and into the heart of what it means to truly live.